G'day, Jay Samuel here, talking about creation again. Can dogs sniff out fossils? Is the question. This is an article from the Institute of Creation Research.com, .org, by Brian Thomas, MS. And well, I'll get stuck into it and talk about the article at the end. Gary Jackson and his dog Migaloo, trained to sniff out buried remains, work with locals to uncover archaeological sites and help Australian police locate the bodies of murdered victims. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, Migaloo quickly located the 600-year-old remains of an Indigenous Australian, which researchers found a decade ago, but that specialized training resulted in an unforeseen crossover. Miglo can also smell fossils. Fossils are supposed to be rocks in the shape of bones, with no original bone material remaining. Over the supposed eons, gradually trickling minerals slowly replace the long-dead creature's bone material. Museums and textbooks widely teach that this process takes millions of years. If that's really how it happened, then the bone should no longer smell different from the surrounding rock. Remains buried for dozens or maybe even a few thousand years might still retain some of their original organic components. But original organics are out of the question, for remains buried for millions of years. If the original material wasn't replaced by minerals, then it would have decayed and disappeared long before a million years elapsed, especially in a warm Australian climate. Apparently, nobody explained these fossilization issues to Miglo and her sensitive sniffer. The black Labrador bull mastiff identified megafauna bone remains tagged as being between 2.6 and 5.3 million years old. How did she find these fossils so well is the question. University of Queensland paleontologist Steve Salisbury told the Herald, "It seems very feasible to me that there would still be an odor attached to the corpse, but fossils bone is another thing. We're talking millions of years old. Where is the original bone internal structure has been remineralized and essentially become a rock. That's why I question whether she can smell the difference. Why does Salisbury's stick closer to the remains under demonstrated age assignment than Miglo's demonstrated ability to pick up the bone scent? This doubt seems to arise not from the observable evidence, either from analyzing the fossils or from observing Miglo, but from the belief in unobserved millions of years. But the dog can still smell something different in the fossil bones. Maybe underground processes never did remineralize the bone. And if they still retain original organics, then maybe they are simply not millions of years old. After all, paleontologists continue to find unmineralized fossils with original proteins and cells, and all over the world. Original tissue fossils, designated as tens of millions of years old, harken from several US states, as well as Brazil, Argentina, Great Britain, Germany, Chinese provinces, Italy, and Belgium. The still intact organic molecules inside these fossils show that all the rock layers look many times younger than their evolutionary assigned age. Quote, "I'd like to believe it. If she can find fossilized bone, then that would make our searches a lot easier. I'm ready to watch and be surprised. That would be really exciting," Salisbury said. End quote. It sure would be. Not just because the dog's nose would make fossil searches easier, but because original unmineralized organic materials in fossils might force clear-thinking people to reassess fossil age assignments. Now, what I do after the end of every article is I go through the article again and just, put it in layman's terms for the people who didn't get it the first time round. Like myself, I have to reread a lot of things. What this is really is that they found an unmineralized fossil that was giving off an odor, and the dog smelt it and found it and, dug it up. And that's, if it's a fossil and it's unmineralized, that's kind of like it's a contradiction. You can't really have that. Fossils are meant to be millions and millions of years old. Their minerals are meant to have gone by now, but they're not. And they find this all over the world. They find fossils with, well, not fossils themselves, but they find bones meant to be in millions of years old of strata, and the mineralization over millions of years would have made the bone decay, but the bone's still there. And this is the same thing. The odor is still there, even after millions and millions of years, apparently. Which is ridiculous because odor only lasts a few thousand years at best. The best preservation. And this is not in the best preservation. This is in Australia, very warm climates. So just another thing to think about, that even a dog can sniff out bones like that's just right there, refuting evolution. Alright, well, God bless, and Jesus be with you. Please subscribe and like.